Master.
Master.
Varka. Varka.
Go Varka! He's the right one!
For Varka.
What I love so much about Varka's story quests, and subsequently the Mondstadt variants quest, Homeward He Who Caught the Wind, is the focus on making people feel welcomed. In Homeward He Who Caught the Wind event, it's about making the knights returning from Notcry feel welcomed when they return home. In the Varka story quest, it's about making sure that no one is alone. The way the story quest opens with the traveler delivering Varka's letters gave me such a warm sensation in my chest. Sending letters is such a thoughtful way to show someone how much you care about them. Despite him not being in Mondstadt, the effort Varka puts into making sure people don't feel alone is a wonderful gesture. Varka wants to avoid what happened with Roland. Rosaria mentions that Roland's life would have turned out differently if he knew the Knights of Avonius would welcome him back. We see this directly with the amount of times he has annoyed Diluc. Varka wants to make it clear that the Knights of Avonius will always welcome Diluc back. This worry that Varka has comes from Roland being such a punished character. Roland's legacy was this perfect knight who fell into the hands of the Abyss after seeing so much injustice and death. A knight who thought he failed. He saw the death of his mentor, the death of his comrades, the injustice by the gods against Khaenri'ah. These are one of those stories that I think many of us can relate to. That feeling of no matter how hard you try, you still fail. Thinking about what if I had power or a cheat, some sort of way to keep myself from failing again. I certainly felt that a lot. I mean, I'm a slow writer. Formulating my thoughts, playing a story, it takes so much of my time. It would be much easier if I just let AI write it for me. But then I lose what makes myself and my videos human. For Roland, he chose the powers of the Abyss. He gave up his humanity for the powers to be the knight he thought he wasn't. It's why Jean found it so important to do her best to help reintegrate the knights coming back from Notcry into Mondstadt. Although their mission was successful, they lived their lives in Notcry as knights for years. The process of just coming back home isn't an easy one. According to a 2025 study, Mental Health Challenges and Barriers to Veterans' Adjustments to Civilian Life on the US-Mexico border, some soldiers experienced a disconnect from civilian life. They didn't feel like they could fit in anymore. They would feel confused and overwhelmed. I bring this up because these feelings can lead people to feeling alone, much like Roland. And unfortunately, in real life, this also leads to a whole host of mental health issues that can harm the person and the people around them. Although the event was goofy and funny, it does have a real importance.
Might not be a happy ending, but someone's got to strike the final blow.
It's your turn to be the hero.
I'll take knight over hero any day.
There's so much I appreciate about these quests and how well they both complement each other. Also, the event quest had some pretty goofy moments with characters playing different roles, which is very funny, and some awesome moments where we're just fighting against Abyss Dvalin with everyone. I do worry about the implications of the Abyss being able to grow from a bubble universe or even a memory. I don't want to be always diving into simulated worlds and fighting the Abyss. I want a more tangible thing to fight. I mean, we've done enough of this in Honkai Impact 3rd. What I didn't have enough of is the ending to Varka's story quest. The confrontation between Roland and Varka had me locked to my screen. Although this is merely a representation of Roland at his peak, it was awesome to hear his perspective and why he made these decisions. From being a character in an artifact set to having a brief little moment in Nodcry to now being fully fleshed out in a story is so cool. Having all the letters that Varka sent coming back into play as the motivator for Varka to continue living on and to not be captured by the ley lines is so awesome because it shows the difference between Roland and Varka. I also love that we don't fight Roland at the end. Varka's not here to end his life. It is merely a battle between ideals. I really appreciated that. And then we get to the awesome moment of us escaping the ley line. So hyped that all the people that Varka cares about are now lending him their powers to allow him to escape the ley line. It was so cool using everyone's different specials and techniques to escape. The fact that we got a Noelle skill for building up her shield was so cool. I was like, oh my god, this is so hype. I really love that. Holy man, it's such a good moment. And we get to a quieter moment of Varka paying his respects to those who came before him. I'm a player who takes the weapons and artifact lore for granted because you just see so many of these artifacts and weapons that kind of loses some of its meaning. But seeing the swords here is so cool. It just highlights their importance to the grand story of Genshin, and it added so much more weight to these weapons than I ever had realized. And I appreciate that all of you took the time to watch this video. I'm very excited to see what the heck they're cooking up in Luna 6. Because if this is anything to go by, I am hyped. Thank you all for watching, and until next time, I will see you later. Bye!